Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Where's Justin? Testing 1 2 3. 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 Was I going out to both?
Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds good to me.
Scott. You can go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fowler Field here on the campus of Middletown High School for playoff football. That's right, you heard it, playoff football here at Middletown with the top-seeded team in Section 9 Class AA, your own Middletown Middy Bears, taking on the 4-seeded Bushmen of Pine Bush. These two teams faced each other a couple of weeks ago. It came out with a Middletown victory at 35-14, but we'll see what's in store with these two traditional rivals. In the meantime, a reminder, if you have somebody who can't make it out to the field this evening, they can join us on Media TV via YouTube by hitting the Middletown City School District website at www.middletown.cityschools.org. Hit the Media TV icon and they'll be joining the live stream, or you can join our friends DJ McPherson or Noah Gibson over on Wall Radio at 1340, and they'll have the action on radio for you. In the meantime, let's get to know a couple of our Middy Bears. We'll have Kyle Scott at halftime. In the meantime, let's hear from number 70, Ramir Bradley, the senior offensive and defensive lineman. Edition of Bear Talk. This time, I'm with senior offensive and defensive lineman Ramir Bradley. And Ramir, what a season so far for the Middy Bears. Tell us a little bit about what your expectations were coming into the year.
My expectations were, we are a senior-heavy team. A lot of the guys have been around for a while. So, I was just looking at, focusing on our strengths, everything that we do well, and I was like, man, this team is really a killer team, I was on that Section 9 championship team my freshman year, and I was like, this team holds all the aspects of that team. And especially when I was in 8th grade, I seen another senior-heavy team, like how it was in 2019. I was like, all the chips are starting to add up. And, unfortunately, the things that happened that year, them getting held back from the playoffs, I was like, this isn't going to happen to us. We're going to fulfill that dream.
Yeah, so the couple times that it looked like Middletown was really going to take off, the almost undefeated season, so to speak, and then the Section 9 championship happened, I think, during COVID. Mm-hmm. So they were really kind of, they didn't have an opportunity to really play out the whole year through the state playoff run. So what are you guys looking forward to during this playoff series coming up?
Just sticking to our strengths. We are firm believers in, what we did in the past doesn't matter anymore, especially now since we're in the playoffs. everything just restarts. We're 0-0, back to square one. Every Monday we preach that. We go back to the basics, just doing everything the right way, just focusing on that win just for that week, you know.
And that offensive and defensive line, experienced like crazy. You guys have been in the trenches, not only on the football field, but on the wrestling mat as well. Tell us a little bit about the camaraderie you have with the other linesmen for Middletown.
Those are just all like my brothers, at this point. Whole offensive line's a senior group, whole defensive line, me and Stephen are seniors, and then you got Mekhi Wilson who falls into that. He's another senior. Then we got Jada Faison, a year younger than us, but he's been around for a while. And me and Stephen go hand in hand. Me and him work together all the time. We get to work together. You got the center, Cameron Wiley. He's always with us, always putting in work with us. Randy, just the ball of energy on the line. He's the smallest one, but he goes to work. He gets after it. And then you got, of course, like I said, as for mentioned, Mekhi Wilson. Just a big kid that just likes to have fun, getting work. And I think that's just been the big piece of this team, having a seasoned, ready to go offensive line. We care. We have pride in protecting our team. And that's just really what we want to get after. And then the defensive line, we just like having fun. We just like flying around, getting pressure, get to the quarterback. I think this is the most fun year I've had on the defensive line. We've been making a lot of plays, opening it up for the safeties and the secondary as a whole, just to come and get the ball for off the pressure.
Which do you like best, offensive line or defensive line?
Man, I love defense. Ever since I was,
You get to attack on defense.
Ever since I've been in 8th grade, I've been playing D-line, and it's just been the joy of my life whenever I've been playing football, just flying around, having fun, and you got more of a fighting chance. You're fighting every single play, going full steam ahead. And I feel like you're able to go out there and fight.
Now I interviewed Stefan last week, and you guys have the same mentality, but you approach it in two different ways. Stefan's more quiet. He says you're the vocal leader of the team, of that line for the most part. Tell us a little bit about the personality how your personality fits into that role.
I think my personality fits is just I like keeping everyone in check, holding people accountable, but also being able to have fun, giving people just the right mind. Just want to give people the reason why they signed up. They signed up for football. They signed up for wrestling to have fun. I want to bring that fun edge, but also hold people accountable so we can have success. That's my big thing. We could find the fun in winning and find the fun in having success. So that's the one thing I think I love about being loud. I love talking, so I love football and wrestling because it just allows me to talk and give it to everyone.
Let's talk about this a little bit because you're a championship wrestler, a state-level championship wrestler. Tell us a little bit about how you feel both sports kind of help you with the other.
Wrestling and football just kind of go hand in hand. I try to preach to everyone, if you want to get better at football, you got to wrestle. If you want to get better at wrestling, you got to play football. So I think it's just two successful programs, especially since, you got Coach Sitzenstein. He's in both programs. He's helped me tremendously in sports, all aspects, sports and becoming a better person. So I think it's just, wrestling really makes you more flexible for football. And I think that's what's carried over to my success in football. And football is just kind of built my toughness in a way, just being able to take a hit, going after and wrestling. So I think they just go hand in hand and help each other.
And I've been asking all the players how they prepare for a game. Safeties like Kyle prepare differently, running backs prepare differently. How does Ramir Bradley prepare for a football game?
So the night before, I get all the music in there. I prep myself with the music, just depending on the mood I'm in that night. And, I just prep with the music. I wake up, I sit outside, I enjoy what's going on outside. Now it's getting cold. But, I just enjoy what's going on outside, put my jersey on, embrace what I have. I have a younger brother who passed away. I have a T-shirt hanging up in there. I tap that T-shirt, give me my reason of why I play sports. I just keep it going, go throughout the day, emphasize it's a game day. I show love to the school because, I think that's what brings people out to the games. I love when there's a crowd there. After school, I figure go get something to eat, then, come back to the locker room, enjoy with my guys before the game. We go through the walkthrough, we go back in the locker room. Before the skill positions actually come out before the linemen. So before when the skill positions go out, I give all of them a hug. I let them know I love them. We're going to go out there and we're going to have a good game. Linemen run out, then it's time to get straight to business.
And that's what's great about this team. If you haven't seen them yet, Middletown, you got to come out Friday. You got to come out tonight or watch on Midi TV. But the camaraderie all of you have, regardless of the position, whether it's the running backs or the wide receivers or the secondary or the linemen, everyone feels like they're a part of every play. So especially with the success of the running program and the production of your 8th grade quarterback as well, you guys take ownership to that. How do you feel about that?
I just think, especially with me, I have a different bond with everyone on the team. And it's like, everyone on the team is just, we're all so close. And everyone just loves each other, and it's just a different culture, Like I look at other teams, they always arguing with each other, getting down on each other. And this team just stays in it through thick and thin. I think that's just always what Middletown's breed is, just a family that's close, a brotherhood, a team that's always just going to love each other no matter what the outcome is.
And I think one of the great things about Middletown this year, that I would honestly say in the past might be an issue, but not this year, you guys are a pretty fundamentally sound team. Very few penalties on the offensive or defensive lines, very few offsides, very few motions, very few holding calls this year. How do you feel about that?
I think that just all falls down to what Coach Such-a-Team preaches to us. We just love being the best, and I think we've kind of set the record straight that Middletown's going to dominate no matter who we're playing. We don't care about who we're coming up. We're going to give you our best. We're going to punch you in the mouth first play, let you know that we're not to be messed with. Because, a lot of people are going to look down at us just because, we're not the tallest, we're not the biggest, we're not the fastest. But we work together as a group, I think, the best out of any team in New York State. So. And
then finally, you're facing a tough Pine Bush team that you just beat a couple of weeks ago, but they played a pretty good second half against you here at Fowler. How do you prepare for a team that you just faced a couple of weeks ago?
I think it's really going to come down to, I think they're going to come into the game like how they attacked the second half, just trying to attack the air on us. And, like I said, I love playing D-line. I think we're going to send that pressure at them. And, like players like Kyle and Rahman Alexander, and we got Mike Culver and Caden Blackman, I think they're going to go after them and attack that ball, especially since, I love the secondary, but I definitely thinking to look for get back at that game, especially since the first game they had. I think they're ready to go back at that game. And I think we're just ready to dominate on both sides of the ball. Offense, I really didn't see the struggle there. We're just going to keep pounding the ball, attack the air, get some of our receivers some of that action. I think we're ready to go after it.
Well, have you seen it tonight, folks, in our interviews, both with Kyle Scott and now with Ramir Bradley? This senior leadership on this Middletown team is absolutely awesome. So there you have it, our last edition of Bear Talk with senior offensive and defensive lineman Ramir Bradley. So there you have it, Middletown senior offensive and defensive lineman, as well as one of New York State's top wrestlers, Ramir Bradley. Now let's get you introduced to your Middie Bears.
Giovanni Bauernfon, wide receiver.
Dylan Alvarez, defensive back.
Calvin Perez, running back.
Jojo Arroyo, quarterback.
Quentin Langlitz, running back.
Rob Alexander, defensive back, wide receiver.
Caden Blackman, wide receiver, DB.
Dane Goodman, running back, safety.
Sarah DiGiorgio, quarterback.
James Mace, cornerback, wide receiver.
Michael Culver, running back, wide receiver, DB.
Max Sarbella, tight end, outside linebacker.
Chase Blackwood, outside linebacker, running back.
Jacob Estevez, safety.
Javon Ferguson, safety.
Jelani Graham, running back, inside linebacker.
Kyle Scott, defense.
Elijah Georges, wide receiver.
Javion Roden, running back, corner.
Joe Mann, defensive back. Jared Howell, defense.
Lance Bell, wide receiver, safety.
Josh Simon, middle linebacker.
Rudy Cherry, running back, outside linebacker.
Hector LeBron, linebacker, tight end.
Zamir Seabury, linebacker, running back.
Keishon Smith, DB.
Eric Murillo, defensive end.
Damian Douglas, D-line and O-line.
Aiden Jones, O-line, linebacker. Cameron Wiley, offensive lineman.
Noah Rodriguez, O-line.
Tyler Lang, left tackle, DN.
Ramir Bradley, offensive line, defensive line.
Mikhail Wilson, O-line, D-line.
Stephen Moncherie, O-line, D-line.
Randy Fernandez, O-line, D-line.
Isaiah Torres, O-line.
Bryson Tibbs, outside linebacker, tight end.
Jaden Faison, defensive line.
Chris Conklin, defensive coordinator.
Bobby Mangano, offense coordinator.
Jason Lichtenstein, line coach.
Phil Caccialetti, quarterback coach.
Mike Conklin, tight ends, inside linebacker coach.
Tim Strenfeld, head coach. Let's go Middletown.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, the student athletes of the Middletown City School District ask our fans to support our shared goal of promoting positive sportsmanship and cultivating an enjoyable sporting environment. Please do not make disparaging remarks or single out anyone by name or number. We compete with honor and integrity and play for the love of the game. So let's all cheer for our team, have fun, and support the spirit of high school athletics. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, the Middletown Athletic Department and the Section 9 Athletic Council ask you to respect the following school and conference rules. Cheer for your team, not against the visitors. Don't get personal in your comments about players, coaches, or officials. No profanity, vulgarity, racist, or sexist comments will be tolerated. Give players, coaches, and officials their space by keeping away from the playing area and team bench areas. Unauthorized individuals who enter the court of competition shall be immediately removed from the facility. A no-tolerance policy for alcohol and smoking use is in effect at all contests. And as always, please remember to be loud, be proud, and be positive. captains from both schools will meet at midfield for our coin toss. For the visiting Bushmen, it appears to be number 55, Jake Slavitsky, number 1, Emmanuel Hannon, number 52, Edward Morley Jr., and number 13, Jaden Aracena. And for your middies, it is number 75, Stefan Monchery, number 70, Ramir Bradley, number 17, Elijah Georges, and number 1, Dylan Alvarez.
Pine Bush, what's your call? Heads. He calls ahead. And it's a tail. Middletown, you've won the toss. Defer. It's won the toss, and they'll defer.
The Middies have won the toss and have elected to defer. Pine Bush will go on offense first. Pine Bush offense will be against the Middletown defense. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, our colors this evening are presented by our NJROTC chapter from Middletown High School. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise, remove your hats, and face the flag as we honor America and our soldiers stationed at home and abroad with the playing of our national anthem by the Middletown Marching Middies.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready for playoff football here in Middletown. Your Middie Bears taking on the Bushmen of Pine Bush in a Section 9 Class AA football matchup. As we mentioned earlier, both these teams faced each other 2 weeks ago with the Middie Bears coming away with a 34-14 win. But they know each other very well. The Bushmen played extremely well in the second half of that ball game, so we'll see what happens in this opening round playoff game. This semifinal, the winner will advance to next week's Section 9 Class AA championship game. And right now it's scheduled to be played at Newburgh Free Academy, and they'll take on the winner of either Newburgh or Monroe. Those two teams will be facing off at 6 o'clock tonight over at Newburgh. Middletown won the toss, so they've elected to defer, and will start the game on defense. In to kick for the Middy Bears, number 81, Juan Twiggy Arzu, the senior kicker. And back to receive for Pine Bush is number 6, Jake Shorling, and number 4, Plexico Brooks. Brooks is on the near side, Shorling on the far side. They've stationed themselves at about the 5-yard line as Arzu gets ready to kick off for Big Blue. And we're off and running. The first playoff game ever here at Fowler Field for the Middy Bears. The ball's taken at around the 20-yard line, and a good return, still on his feet for Pine Bush down the near sideline is number 5, Jaden Spacito, into Middletown territory. And already the Bushmen have started off much better than they did a couple of weeks ago when they couldn't cross midfield until late in the first half. So Spacito took it at around the 18-yard line and takes it all the way back to the Middletown 37, where the Bushmen will take over 1st and 10. That's Tristan Santos, the junior quarterback for the Bushmen, from the shotgun. Emmanuel Hannon is right to his left side. Rolling to his left is Santos. He finds a receiver along the far side. Coming up to make the tackle for Middletown is number 5, Raman Alexander. A short pickup of about 4 yards for the Bushmen. Believe that was Brooks out of the backfield with the reception, a 4-yard pickup. Second and 6. Santos rolling to his right, inside handoff, and what a tackle by Alexander. Actually, that's Jamani Graham for Middletown. Hannon had the carry. No pickup that time for Hannon, and it's going to stay 3rd and 6. Third and 6 for Pine Bush at the Middletown 34-yard line. Back to pass, Santos on the near side. He's got it intercepted, and coming down the sideline is Mike Culver, the senior, turning it around. It's a pick 6 for the Middy Bears. Mike Culver stepped in front of the route for Pine Bush, and he takes it to the house as you hear public address announcer Jeff Shuko in the background yelling it out. A Middletown touchdown on Pine Bush's opening possession. It looked promising for the Bushmen at the start, but it ends in disaster with the Culver pick 6. Arzu in to attempt the extra point. The snap is good, the kick is up, and it's through the goalpost for an early Middletown 7-0 lead. So Culver intercepts the ball at about the 33-yard line, takes it back for Middletown, about 67 yards on the return, down the near sideline. And what a play by Mike Culver, anticipating the pass, getting in front of the route, and taking it home for the Middy Bears. And they'll see that score up in Newburgh between the Crusaders and the Goldbacks early as Middletown takes the 7-0 lead. We talked, as you will see at halftime, we had an interview with Kyle Scott, the safety for Middletown, who talked about the fact that the secondary was prepared for this game, and they thought that Pine Bush would come out throwing, and that's exactly what the Bushmen have done, and unfortunately for Middletown, they were prepared. So once again, it's Shorling along the far side line for Pine Bush, and on the near side, Plexico Brooks, number 4, getting ready to return. Second time for Arzu to kick off, which is always a good sign. Long, short, high kick coming at about the 10 to Shorling. Shorling coming up towards the middle, and nice special teams play by Middletown. Number 20 on the tackle for the Midi Bears is Joe Mann. And not as much favorable position here for Pine Bush as they did on their opening drive. So 10-13 remaining here in the first quarter. Middletown leads at 7-0 without having had one offensive snap yet. And Pine Bush getting ready for their second offensive possession. That's Hannon to the right of Pine Bush quarterback, Tristan Santos. That's Brooks in motion. And we got a whistle on the play, and it looks like motion against Pine Bush.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 5. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So what looked like a promising start for Pine Bush has gone a little bit backwards here after the pick 6, and now a penalty on the first snap of the second possession. We got dual receivers to either side of Santos. That's Brooks in motion. Handoff to Hannon, but he's going backwards. Seabury in pursuit and forces Hannon to run straight out of bounds. Never decided to go north. That's going to be a loss of some additional yardage for Pine Bush's Hannon. It's a loss of 5 on the play. So 2nd and 20 for Pine Bush. And a little bit of a dangerous zone here for the Bushmen. 2 weeks ago, Middletown ran out to a 34-0 lead at halftime and never looked back. And I'm sure Pine Bush doesn't want that to happen once again. Pass to Shorling along the far side. Nice stick that time by number 15, Jelani Graham. And you always wonder about these games sometimes when teams got to face each other 2 weeks apart. But when we spoke to the Middletown players during the week, they were prepared that this could be a trap game, and they've come out hitting strong and playing good defense. Ball's marked at the 13-yard line. Pine Bush needs to get to the 28 for a first down. That was a 5-yard pickup on the pass to Shorling. 3rd and 15. Back to pass is Santos. In pursuit, that Middletown defensive line comes away with a sack, led by number 70, Ramir Bradley, and number 72, Makai Wilson. And he sacked back near the 1-yard line, was fortunate not to be caught in the end zone for a safety. And a big loss of 12 yards on the play, and Pine Bush will be forced to punt from its own end zone. So for the Midi Bears, number 6 on the far side is Caden Blackman, and then number 17 is Elijah Georges on the near side. They've stationed themselves at about the Pine Bush 37, getting ready to receive this punt. Pine Bush kicker gets it away. It comes down to Alexander on the near side at the 35. He's down the 30, into the 20, and gets tackled out of bounds that time by number 42, Ethan Conroe. But that's a great return for Middletown's Blackman, and the Midi Bears are getting ready for their first offensive possession. 8:16 remaining here in the first quarter. They lead it 7-0, looking to add some more. You see Middletown quarterback Joe Royal coming in, the 8th grader leading the Middie Bears this year. Last year as a 7th grader, he took Middletown to the section final before they lost to Newburgh. He's under center. Perez in motion. That's Graham directly behind him. He's got the handoff and right up the middle. Gains a couple of yards before he's tackled on the play by Conroe. Ball's marked at about the 13-yard line. A pickup of 4 yards on the play for Graham. It'll be 2nd and 6 for Middletown from the Pine Bush 13. This time, Graham and Culver are the backs who are split. That's Culver with the handoff. He's already got a touchdown defensively. Trying to add one offensively. He turns it upfield, and he's got a good gainer from the 13-yard line. He's got enough for a Middletown first down inside the 5. They're going to mark it down at the 4-yard line. Actually, they'll mark him at the 3-yard line. So a 10-yard gain for Mike Culver, and it'll be 1st and goal for Middletown from the Pine Bush 3. Middletown trying to get a stranglehold early on this playoff semifinal against the Bushmen. Graham in the backfield. Handoff right up the middle, across the goal line for a Middletown touchdown. And the light show. It's always good when you're driving by Fowler Field and you see the lights blinking, because that means something good has happened at the high school. And in this particular case, it's the Middletown touchdown by Jelani Graham from 3 yards out, and Arzu in to try the extra point. Kick is up, and the point is good. And with 7:29 remaining here in the first quarter, a 3-yard touchdown run by Jelani Graham extends the Middletown lead to 14-0. A little bit of a chilly evening settling in here at Middletown. The flags going from about right to left on your screen. Temperature in the lower 50s right now with a slight wind chill, probably in the 40s. We have a good crowd settling in here at Middletown. Once again, the winner will advance to next week's championship game against either Newburgh or Monroe-Woodbury. The Middie Bears coming in as the number 1 seed in this year's football playoffs in AA. Arzu back again, kicking off for the 3rd time. Kick coming down near the 6-yard line, taken by Shorling. Coming towards the near sideline, and Middletown all over it at the 20. It'll be a 14-yard return for Shorling before he's tackled on the play by Dylan Alvarez. The state football playoffs on the eastern side of New York State will be held right here at Middletown. The Section 9 champion, whoever that may be, will be playing right here at Fowler on November 18th. And then the Eastern semifinals and finals, with a trip to the Dome at stake, will occur on the weekends of November 23rd and 24th. From the shotgun, Santos for Pine Bush. Handed off by Hannon. He might as well have handed off to the Middletown player. That was number 28, Zamir Seabury for the Middie Bears, who must have been in the huddle because he read it perfectly. It's going to be 2nd and 14 for Pine Bush. Hannon so far has 3 carries for a loss of 9 yards. And that Middletown defense came to play tonight. A little bit more bulk in the backfield now as Santos is under center. That's Brooks on the handoff. He's got a couple of positive yards at least on the ground before he's brought down by Ramir Bradley, number 70 for Middletown. And you notice that time that Pine Bush brought in the fullback Reuben Simpson to lead Brooks. That was a 7-yard pickup for Brooks on the ground. That was the best play so far that we've seen from Pine Bush this evening on the ground. This time the fullback goes back to the sidelines. The shotgun from Santos over the middle, looking downfield. Defended well on the play by Kyle Scott was number 2, Logan Hawley. And the pass falls incomplete to bring up 4th down, and Pine Bush will be forced to punt once again. Blackman and Georges back to receive the punt this time. They'll station themselves just on their side of the 50-yard line with Blackman on the far side of the field and Georges on the near side. Good return last time by Blackman. I believe that's number 42. Actually, it might be number 43, Justin Martier, for the punt. It's a low liner coming right to George as he fumbles the football near the 50. And the ball's loose. Did Pine Bush recover? He tried to grab it and make a play on it. We'll see who recovers it, and Pine Bush does. So the first turnover of the night for Middletown by Elijah Georges, who had trouble coming up with the low liner. Looked like he had possession for a brief second before he lost control on the tackle. And for the second time now tonight, Pine Bush will start an offensive series on the Middletown side of the field. The last time the Midi Bears were on this side of the field, it led to a Middletown pick 6 by Mike Culver. The big fullback, Reuben Simpson, in now for Pine Bush. Under center is Santos. On the near side, there's a flag on the play. Pine Bush, I believe, had too many men in motion at the time as Brooks is driven out of bounds.
We have an illegal shift on the offense. 2 men moving. That's a 5-yard penalty.
So that will negate the yardage for Brooks on the sideline. It was an illegal shift by the Bushmen. They were conferring with Middletown head coach Tim Strenfel as to whether or not he wanted to take the play or the penalty yardage because there wasn't much.
Illegal shift, offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Wasn't much of a gain on the play, but nevertheless, Coach Strenfel takes the penalty yardage, and it'll be 1st and 15 for Pine Bush. Santos from the shotgun, straight back to pass. He's got a big rush on him before he gets rid of the ball to Hannon, and Hannon drops it as he wasn't going to go anywhere that time because number 21, Jared Howe, was ready to make the tackle. Second and 15 for Pine Bush. From their own 48-yard line, they trail in the game 14-0 with 4:57 remaining here in the first quarter. Brooks in motion. Santos straight back to pass. A big blitz by Middletown. Pine Bush had actually set up the screen to Hannon. It looked like it was going to work pretty well, but they just could not connect as that Middletown rush got in there very quickly on Santos. Third and 15 now for Pine Bush. Their own 48-yard line. Trips receivers this time to the left side of Santos. Looking in that direction, he's got Brooks at the 50-yard line. Makes a nifty move before he's finally taken by the legs by Mike Culver, well short of the first down, but we'll see if Pine Bush decides to go for it on fourth down 14-0. So 7-yard pickup for Brooks. He has 2 catches on the evening so far, both for 7 yards, so he's got a total of 14. And the Pine Bush offense stays on the field as they face a 4th and 8 from the Middletown 45-yard line. Brooks in motion once again. The handoff to Brooks. Pitch back and then thrown downfield towards the quarterback. And they're going to throw a flag that time as Santos had to stop to come back towards the football that was thrown to him by Logan Hawley. So a little razzle-dazzle for Pine Bush, and they were fortunate enough to get the flag called against Mike Culver on the pass interference call.
Pass interference on the defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty, first down.
You saw Culver with a slight grab, and I think that's what finally did it for the official to throw the flag. The ball was going to be short, and when Santos tried to adjust, Culver grabbed him slightly near the hip area, and that's what the flag was thrown at. As Coach Tim Strenfeld felt that there really wasn't any harm on that particular play since the ball fell to the ground. But 1st and 10 for Pine Bush. Hannon to the right of Santos, who rolls to his right. Looking downfield on the near side. Brooks catches it at about the 20. And a good catch that time by Plexico Brooks, who comes back towards the throw, gains possession, and then turns around upfield. And it looks to be a first. Yep, looks like a first down as the ball's marked at the 19-yard line. So pickup of 10 on that completion for Pine Bush. They are driving inside the Middletown 20 at the 19. Santos from the shotgun. Rolling to his left, might run the football here and then pitches it to Hannon, but a nice job staying with his man is Middletown's number 5, Raman Alexander. And it limits the amount of yards there by Hannon. It'll be a 3-yard gain for Hannon. That is the first carry of positive yardage for Emmanuel Hannon, the senior for Pine Bush. 2:44 remaining here in the first quarter. Middletown leads at 14-0, but Pine Bush is driving. This is their best drive of the evening so far. The big fullback, Reuben Simpson, is in there with Santos under center. And a flag on the play.
Prior to the snap, delay a game. Offense, 5
and
yards.
Another mistake by Pine Bush. When you're playing in these types of games against a team like Middletown this year, you cannot turn the ball over or have penalties, and both have happened to the Bushmen at inopportune times when they're driving. The first turnover led to Middletown's 7 points on the pick six, and Here is Pine Bush driving, and they've had a couple of penalties. That one a delay a game. Under center as they rush to the line is Pine Bush. The pitch to Brooks. He's going to throw the football. Looking downfield, wide open for the Pine Bush touchdown is number 2, Logan Hawley. And a lot of razzle-dazzle on that possession for Pine Bush. And it results in a Bushman score. And pending the extra point, they'll have an opportunity to cut the deficit in half. Extra point attempt by Pine Bush. Unfortunately, we do not have a number 10 on their roster. The extra point is good. And with 1:50 remaining, Pine Bush with a sorely needed touchdown cuts the Middletown lead to 14-7. And I'm sure head coach Tim Strenfield will go into halftime and start to reevaluate and make sure that this Middletown defense is prepared for some razzle-dazzle, because conventionally the Midi Bears are playing well defensively, but they'll have to take care of some of these creative offensive plays for Pine Bush. That was a 19-yard pass from Plexico Brooks. To number 2, Logan Hawley, who's the primary receiver for the Bushmen. Quentin Langlitz, number 4, back to receive the kick. We'll try to get who number 10 is for Pine Bush. They did not include him on their roster unless it is their kicker with a just different jersey number. It's a short kick, fielded at the 35-yard line and brought back beyond the 40-yard line. It'll be a good field position for Middletown to start. Joe Mann taking the ball near the 30, returning it about 11 yards to the 41, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Middletown. First and 10 for Middletown. Couple of yards picked up on the run. Two-yard pickup for the Midi Bears, 2nd and 8. From the shotgun, JoJo Royal for Middletown. Back to pass, his first attempt of the night. Brought down by Tibbs. He did a nice juggling act and did complete the pass for a couple of yards. Third down and 6. This is a big play for the Pine Bush defense. Downfield, wide open. Does he connect? George has got it. They're going to say he was out of bounds after the catch at the 21-yard line. So he did come down with the football and just got his foot in bounds. Head coach Tim Strenfield arguing that he had both feet in bounds the whole way. But it looks like it'll be a Middletown first down. That's most important. They'll keep possession.
Royals pass is complete down the sidelines for 33 yards to number 17, Elijah Georges. And that is good.
That was a 33-yard reception from JoJo Royal as he hits Georges in stride. So 1st and 10 for Middletown. at the Pine Bush 21. They're trying to answer after Pine Bush cut the game in half. Jelani Graham off the inside handoff gets a couple of yards to the 23. A pickup of 3. Conroe on the tackle for Pine Bush. And that's going to do it here in the first quarter. So a very entertaining first quarter. I don't think the officials have realized that that was the end of the first quarter. And they have not, and that's Michael Culver, who gets tackled on the field, but not sure that play should have even happened. The clock had already gone to 0. The officials never caught the fact that the quarter had ended and allowed a play to happen to start the second quarter. Technically, that play should never have happened. As Middletown now goes towards the sideline, and we'll see, and it looks like they are going to reset it. We'll see. Yeah, they're going to reset the play back up. And they put 12 minutes back up. So that play should never have happened. Middletown leads at 14-7 at the end of the first quarter. They started the game off with a 67-yard pick six by Mike Culver with 10:18 remaining in the first quarter. The extra point good by Arzu, giving Middletown a 7-0 lead. And then they followed that up at the 7:29 mark on a 3-yard touchdown run by Jelani Graham to make it 14-0. That was set up by the good kickoff return, or the punt return, by number 6, Caden Blackman for the Midi Bears. Pine Bush then answered a couple of nice connections by Tristan Santos, and then Plexico Brooks off the handoff ends up throwing the football into the end zone from 19 yards out for a Pine Bush touchdown as he connects with number 2, Logan Hawley. And that cut the Middletown deficit to 14-7, and that's where we're at the end of the first quarter. The Midi Bears now are trying to respond here to start the second quarter. They have the ball. 2nd and 7 from the Pine Bush 18-yard line. Handoff. Calvin Perez, his first touch. Actually, that's Mike Culver on the handoff. And he takes it from the 18 to the 7-yard line. And it's going to be an 11-yard pickup for Culver and a 1st and goal for the Midi Bears. Jelani Graham in the backfield for Middletown. Under center is JoJo Royal. Handoff right up the middle for Graham for his 2nd touchdown of the night. The Middletown sophomore with his 2nd touchdown from 7 yards out. He has been a touchdown machine for Middletown this year, and Arzu will come in to try the extra point. There is a flag on the play now in the end zone. Might have had too many men on the field for Pine Bush as they try to make their case. We'll see if Middletown head coach
After
Tim
the play was
Strenfeld.
over, unsportsmanlike conduct, White, number 55. That's number 55's first unsportsmanlike conduct. The 15-yard penalty would be assessed on the kickoff. Extra point.
So another mistake by Pine Bush on a flag. Unsportsmanlike conduct by Jake Slavitsky. That'll be assessed on the kickoff. While Arzu is in to attempt the extra point for Middletown. High snap brought down. The kick is blocked. So that never had an opportunity off the snap. As the snap was high, and it created a little bit of a delay for Arzu, and the kick is no good. But Middletown answers right back after the Pine Bush touchdown and puts up 6 on the board, and with 11:45 remaining in the first half. Middletown leads it 20-7. Once again, the winner of this game between Middletown and Pine Bush will advance to the Section 9 Class AA Final. That game will be played next Saturday at Newburgh Free Academy. They'll take on the winner of either Newburgh or Monroe. Those two teams are just getting started out in Newburgh. Shorling is back to receive the kick on the far side. Brooks on the near side. And Arzu getting ready to kick off with the added advantage of 15 yards because of that unsportsmanlike penalty. And Arzu's going to kick it right through the end zone, not going to give Pine Bush an opportunity for a return, and they'll settle in for a 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. First and 10 for Pine Bush. They trail it 20-7. Simpson in the backfield. That's Brooks in motion. Right up the middle to Simpson. What a tackle that time. Boy, Seabury, I believe that was the gentleman who made the initial hit for Middletown. No pickup on the play for Simpson. They will give him 1 yard on the play. Second and 9 for Pine Bush from their own 21-yard line. Their first possession of the second quarter. Santos rolling to his right. Turns it upfield. He's going to take it himself. Gets across the 25. A good pickup on second down for Tristan Santos. He takes the ball from the 21 to the 25. So a 5-yard pickup for Santos. It's going to be 3rd and 4. Santos from the shotgun. Going straight back to pass. He's got a big rush on the near side. He finds number 6. That's Jake Shorling on the catch, but a great tackle by Raman Alexander limits the gain to just 2 yards, and it's going to be 4th down for Pine Bush. Back to receive the kick on the near side is Elijah Georges, and on the far side is Caden Blackman. Conroe into punt. It's only 4th and 2, so Middletown's got to stay home to make sure he actually kicks, and he does. It's a low liner right down the middle. And another, Middletown might have touched the football. Pine Bush thinks that Middletown did touch the football, but the officials say he did not. That was dangerous for a second. A little hesitation between both Blackman and Georges, and the confusion almost led to a Middletown turnover, but the Midi Bears take over on their own 28-yard line, 1st and 10, leading 20-7 with 9:15 remaining. First and 10 for the Midi Bears. Close formation. That's Culver in motion. Handoff right up the middle. That's Graham at the 30, the 35. Cuts back inside. Now back to the outside, and he's across midfield for a big gainer from the 28-yard line. And that's going to be a 24-yard pickup for Jelani Graham, who already has two touchdowns in the ballgame.
On the offense,
and that's going to come back, unfortunately. I didn't see the flag,
first down.
But it's going to be holding against Middletown. One of the few times the Midi Bears have been called for holding this year. We talked about that in our pregame interview with Ramir Bradley. The Midi Bears have been fortunate enough not to have too many penalties this year, but this time a costly one. It negates a 24-yard pickup from Graham, and it'll be 1st and 15 back at the 23. Graham, once again, trying to repeat what he just did. He's at the 30, now the 35, and he's going to repeat it, folks. Back across midfield, and he's pushed out of bounds at almost exactly the same spot. But instead, he adds about 6 more yards to his previous total, so it was a 30-yard pickup for Jelani Graham. 1st and 10 Middletown at the Pine Bush 47-yard line. Middletown, just like the first half against Pine Bush 2 weeks ago, has not had to punt here. And they have it 1st and 10, trying to extend this 20-7 lead. Tibbs moves, and the pitch to Langlitz. Cuts back inside across the 45 and across the 40, down to the 39-yard line. A pickup of 8 yards on the play for Langlitz on his first carry of the night. If you've been watching Middletown football, they are relentless in the rushing attack. They have 5 different players who touch the football throughout the night. And that really keeps those legs fresh when it comes to the fourth quarter. Inside handoff across the 35-yard line. That's number 2, Calvin Perez, on the carry. And he takes it from the 38-yard line all the way down to the 33 for a pickup of 5. That's Perez's first carry of the night for 5 yards. And as I just mentioned, 4 different Midi Bears have run the football so far here in the first half. Under center is Royal. Langlitz in motion, fakes the pitch, inside handoff to Graham at the 30-yard line, and they're getting clumps of yardage on just about every run. It's going to be a 6-yard pickup to the 27-yard line for Jelani Graham. 2nd down and 4 for Middletown. As the clock runs down here in the first half, 7:20 remaining in the first half. Middletown leads at 20-7. Langlitz off the handoff. Tries to turn it back upfield for minimal gain. Looks like no gain on the play. Actually, they'll mark it at the 26. So we'll give them a pickup of 1. It's going to be 3rd and 3 for Middletown from the Pine Bush 26-yard line. This might be two attempts here to get the first down for Middletown. They'll likely not try a field goal if they don't get any yardage here. Jelani Graham in the backfield. Give to Graham along the left side. He's got more than a first down inside the Pine Bush 20. Takes it to the 18-yard line. A pickup of 8 for Graham and a first down for Middletown as the drive continues. Midi Bears trying to advance to their second straight Section 9 championship game. They lost to Newburgh last year in the final. And the way it looks right now in Newburgh, I believe the Goldbacks have a 7-0 lead over Monroe. Might be the very same two teams. Inside handoff to Perez. He cuts it back upfield inside the 15. Down near the 13-yard line. They'll mark him at the 14-yard line. So a 4-yard pickup for Perez. 2nd and 6 for Middletown. Royal on the near sideline with head coach Tim Strenfeld. That's how he gets the plays in. Gets to the huddle with 13 seconds left on the play clock. Ball's at the Pine Bush 14, 2nd and 6 for Middletown. Handoff, Graham trying to make it the trifecta, gets inside the 10. Near the first down marker. Looks like he'll be about a yard short. It's a 5-yard pickup for Graham and the Midi Bears. 3rd and 1 inside the 10. Graham right up the middle. He's got more than enough for the first down. Trying to get the touchdown, and he does. Jelani Graham, the hat trick in the first half. And that's a Middletown touchdown. We do have a player down for Pine Bush on the play. But it'll be a Middletown touchdown to make it 26-7 with the extra point pending. And the reason why you see the big M on your screen is because we do not show injured players on the screen, but we do have a Pine Bush player down on the field. We'll try to get a number for you. But Jelani Graham takes it in from 9 yards out. That's his 3rd touchdown. On the night, to go along with a defensive touchdown for Mike Culver. And the Midi Bears, as they did 2 weeks ago, have really dominated the first half. Now, we have to remember that Pine Bush had a very good second half a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sure head coach Tim Strenfeld will remind the Midi Bears of that when they head into halftime. Ten carries now on 75 yards and 3 touchdowns for Jelani Graham. And he has been the workhorse. And if you're a Middletown fan, he's only a sophomore. So we'll have him here for a couple of more years along with the 8th grade quarterback. Now, we cannot say enough about that Middletown senior experience on the offensive and defensive lines. That'll be the area that Middletown will need to improve on if they want to continue their run in Section 9 football next year. Arzu in to attempt the extra point. He missed the last one, made the first 2. Low snap this time, but the kick is low and no good. So the last 2 attempts, they've had a little trouble with the snap. Joe Mann has done a nice job receiving it, but it's thrown off the timing on the kicks. The last one was a little bit high, and this one was a little bit low. We'll have an interview with Middletown senior safety Kyle Scott at halftime. So Middletown getting ready to kick off. They have a 26-7 lead with 4:20 remaining here in the first half. Arzu on the near, about the 11-yard line. That's number 5, and a head of steam upfield before he's finally brought down. That's Jaden Spacito, who had that first impressive run back kickoff return to start the game and actually got Pine Bush into Middletown territory. But unfortunately for the Bushmen, that ended up with a pick 6 for Mike Culver. So Pine Bush has the ball. They trail it 26-7. 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. And we'll see how they try to get going here with 3 timeouts in their back pocket. Brooks gets tripped up, and he'll go down for a loss. Looked like as he was about to cut back, he might have slipped. Jared Howell was getting ready to make the tackle, but it's a loss of 2 on the play. It's the first time Brooks has had negative yardage for Pine Bush tonight. And I'm sure if you're Pine Bush head coach Rich Ormsby, he does not want to give Middletown back the football here this half, as they also get the football to start the second half. Santos from the shotgun finds a player at the 30-yard line. That's Brooks once again, and he's got enough for a Pine Bush first down across the 40. A nice play by Santos and Brooks. So it's a 14-yard pickup on the connection. Second pass of the night for Brooks. And once again, there's another pass connected near midfield for Pine Bush in the air as they try to put up a score before halftime. That's Brooks once again, that time for 9 yards. 2 straight connections here between Santos and Brooks. Clock running, 2:40 remaining. Pine Bush still has 3 timeouts. They have dual receivers on either side with Santos from the shotgun. Looking downfield, finally caught from behind and taken down by number 82 for the Midi Bears. Jaden Faison. There is a flag in the Middletown secondary, and obviously it looks like it's going to be against Middletown because the players for the Midi Bears are arguing with the official.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 5, Pine Bush, for throwing a punch. Number 5 has removed himself from the game.
And what a turn of events. And what we thought was Middletown player arguing was the fact that they were upset they got punched. So number 5, Jaden Spacito, who's had a couple of good kick returns for Pine Bush, makes a horrible mistake, throws a punch on the field, and gets ejected for it, as he well should be ejected for it, if that indeed was the case, because I did not see the play.
Is my mic on, Troy? Yeah.
So not only does he get ejected from the game, he cost his team 15 yards on a possession where they were driving, and Middletown head coach Tim Strenfield calls a timeout to get his team calmed down a little bit. They're obviously upset, but the officials did a nice job and caught through the flag and ejected the player. So we talked earlier about how Pine Bush has had some opportunities tonight, but they keep stubbing themselves in the foot with penalties and or turnovers, and that's a big one because Middletown leading at 26-7 with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Pine Bush driving at the 50-yard line, or had just completed a pass to the 50-yard line. That would have been a first down, and they still had 3 timeouts. But instead, a personal foul against Jaden Spacito negates that yardage, and now Pine Bush faces a 3rd and 19 with 2:02 remaining. And not only does that put Pine Bush in a difficult position offensively, now they run the risk of giving Middletown another offensive possession to end the first half. 3rd and 19 for Pine Bush. The ball back at their own 30-yard line. They need to get to midfield for a first down. Middletown looks like they only have 3 men down on the line. Rolling, and looks like it's a fumble off the sack, but they're going to say his arm was in motion. So it's going to be an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock with 1:54 remaining, and it will mean that Middletown will have another opportunity on offense, something that Pine Bush head coach Rich Ormsby did not want to happen. That was such a huge call against Jaden Spacito on the personal foul. It's really given the Midi Bears another opportunity here on offense. Middletown had 1 man short. Makai Wilson comes in late. Here's the punt. Straight up in the air. It's a beautiful punt coming down at the Middletown 38. Blackman at the 40, the 45, and there's a flag on the play on the return. Might be a block in the back against Middletown. If it is, the Midi Bears will go 10 yards further from where the ball was received. We're going to see if Middletown head coach Tim Strenfeld, knowing that Middletown gets the ball to start the second half, whether he tries to add some more points or will be content to make sure there's no mistakes here as the half approaches.
The return, we have a block in the back, number 20 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down Middletown.
So that's exactly what it was, a block in the back against Middletown on the return. They'll mark the ball 10 yards back inside the 30, where Middletown will have a 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line, leading in the game 26-7 with 1:44 remaining. As I mentioned, we'll see if head coach Tim Strenfeld will be content not to have any mistakes here in the last minute 44, or whether he'll try to add to the advantage. They lead at 26-7. JoJo Royal, does he come down with it? He does. What a catch by Middletown's Caden Blackman on the near side. You could not have defended the ball any better than Luke Broadbelt for Pine Bush, and that was all Blackman on the one-on-one coverage. Royal throws it downfield and gets it all the way to the Pine Bush 43-yard line. As there's a whistle on the play, it'll be a Pine Bush timeout. That was 30 yards on the pass from JoJo Royal to Caden Blackman. Royal has 3 completions so far this evening, 2 of them from plus 30 yards. 68 yards on 3 completions for Royal. As Middletown tries to add to their advantage, 1:26 remaining in the first half with the Midi Bears leading it 26-7. They have a 1st and 10 at the Pine Bush 43-yard line. And just about a minute and a half ago, Pine Bush had the ball, what looked like a first down, at midfield looking to add a score. And then a personal foul by Jaden Spacito, a punch thrown on the field. He gets ejected, costs his team the yardage gained on the play, and also 15 yards on the penalty. And then it stopped the clock and gave Middletown an opportunity to put some more points on the board before halftime. First and 10, Royal from the shotgun. Middletown still has 2 timeouts. Quadruple receivers on the left. That's Jelani Graham. A nice job defensively by Pine Bush, especially by number 2, Logan Hawley, making the stop. A loss of 2 on the pass, and Middletown will call timeout.
Timeout, Middletown.
1:11 remaining in the first half. It's a Middletown timeout. They have 1 remaining. Once again, the winner will advance to the Section 9 AA Finals next week in Newburgh. I believe that's set for a Saturday afternoon game at 1. They'll take on either the Goldbacks or the Crusaders. Those 2 teams are playing right now in Newburgh. I believe Newburgh leads it. But here at Fowler Field on a crisp night, the wind has definitely died down, helping it become a little bit more comfortable. A big Middletown crowd. And for those who couldn't make it, we're glad that you joined us here on Midi TV. 2nd and 12 for Middletown from the 45 of Pine Bush. Royal straight back to pass. Big rush. He steps up from the pocket, still looking, and gets sacked from behind. The big hit this time by the Bushman's number 42, Ethan Conroe, the senior linebacker. The clock's running, 53 seconds. This time, Coach Strenfeld not calling a timeout. You may very well see a Hail Mary here from Middletown, because if the ball's intercepted, it serves just like a punt. .30 seconds remaining in the first half. Might just be Royal going straight back to pass. A little screen to Calvin Perez on the near side. He's at the 40. Cuts it back inside. He's got a first down for Middletown. A late flag coming in. We'll see what that's all about. But what's important about the flag is it stops the clock with 14 seconds left. The ball's inside the 30-yard line. It would be enough for a Middletown first down.
Nothing. Pick it up.
Here's the call.
There's no flag on the play. No flag.
So the ball will get marked at about the 30-yard line. 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Middletown rushes trying to save the timeout, and spiking the ball is JoJo Royal at the 30. That was a 17-yard pickup for Calvin Perez, giving Middletown a 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line of Pine Bush. Only 8 seconds remain, even though the Midi Bears do have 1 timeout. This is likely to be the last play. They may attempt one pass across the middle and then call an immediate timeout, or they'll go right to the end zone. Dual receivers on either side, with Royal working from the shotgun. Straight back to pass, looking towards the end zone. He's got Blackman, and just off his left shoulder. And they'll have another opportunity as there's 3 seconds remaining, as Royal just missed connecting with Blackman in the end zone. We'll have a timeout, the last one of the half for Middletown, as Bobby Mangano, the Middletown offensive coordinator, comes up with a play for the last 3 seconds of the first half, and Middletown leading it 26-7. At the intermission, after our Middletown cheerleaders have a brief performance, we'll turn it over to our Bear Talk interview with Middletown senior safety Kyle Scott. The secondary for Middletown has really played well this afternoon, or this evening, as we had a 5:30 game start. So off the Middletown timeout, we'll set the scene for you here. 3rd and 10 for Middletown from the Pine Bush 30, but there's only 3 seconds left here in the half. This will likely be a toss into the end zone by JoJo Royal for Middletown. Straight back to pass, gives his team a couple opportunities. As the clock winds down, it's a completed pass to about the 13-yard line. So a 17-yard pickup on the connection from Royal to Culver, but that'll do it for the first half. So the Midi Bears go into intermission up 26-7. That last personal foul by Jaden Spacito of Pine Bush does not cost the Bushmen any points defensively, but who knows what they could have done, because they would have had a first down at midfield with about 2 minutes left in the first half. So as both teams come off the field, we'll recap the scoring. Pine Bush started off the game with a beautiful play. It was a kick return by Jake Shorling all the way into Middletown territory. I'm sorry, that was Jaden Spacito with the kick return, all the way into the Middletown 37-yard line. But a couple of plays later, it was Mike Culver for Middletown, the senior safety, with a pick six down the near sideline to give Middletown a 7-0 lead after the Arzu extra point. Pine Bush went 3 and out on its second possession. They had to punt the football from deep in their own zone, and with favorable field position after Blackman punt return, Middletown took over deep in Pine Bush territory, and that possession ended with a 3-yard touchdown run by Jelani Graham. Later on in the half, Middletown made it, or actually Pine Bush came back first to cut the lead in half, 14-7, on a really nice drive that culminated on a 19-yard touchdown with some razzle-dazzle. After Plexico Brooks took the handoff, he threw it downfield for a 19-yard score to number 2 Logan Hawley to make it 14-7. And Middletown responded right away with a touchdown of their own, Jelani Graham from 7 yards out. And then later on, Graham once again from 9 yards out. A couple of missed extra points for Middletown. Your halftime score, Middletown 26 and Pine Bush 7. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached halftime of our playoff semifinal between Middletown and Pine Bush. We're going to head to another version of Bear Talk, this time with Middletown senior safety Kyle Scott. Edition of Bear Talk here in the broadcast studios of Middletown High School. Ed Estrada along with our senior safety Kyle Scott. And Kyle, what an amazing year for the Midi Bears so far. Tell us a little bit about your impression about this year so far for Middletown.
Yes, sir. So I've been here for quite a bit of years now. So one thing I had in store was we just got to win. Like week in, week out, we got to win because there's a big target on our back this year with the kids that we have coming back from year to year and me coming back. So it's a big target on our back, especially the loss last year in the championship. So our biggest thing this year is to finish.
All right. And finish so far in just about every game you've been able to do this year. Tell us a little bit about what a normal prep day is for Kyle Scott getting ready for a football game.
So a normal prep day, so I wake up, I put some music on because music, it controls your mood. So I do a lot of reading, and I learned music could put you in certain moods. It can make you happy, it can make you sad, it can get you ready for the game. So I like to go through school, get my schoolwork done. In my free time, I like to just watch game film. So I watch the team that we're playing. I make sure I didn't miss anything in our week of film review, just so I get it good, fresh in my head. After school, I try to go grab something to eat. I'll come back to the locker room. I try not to be outside the locker room too much, so I stay in the locker room. I'm like the music guy, so I have the speaker going. You know, I watch everyone come in one by one because, you know, everybody got their own little routine. So I watch everyone come in, and I'm just sitting, listening to music, and I start getting my stuff ready. Once we get to our walkthroughs, once we get done with our walkthroughs, I go back in, and then I'll lock in. I'll take the music off the speaker, put my headphones on, and start getting my stuff ready for, you know, game time.
And a couple of the road games that I've been to, I've been fortunate enough to be on the field. So before the game, right before kickoff, I typically see you away from the team, kind of still screaming, being part of what's going on, but you kind of set yourself aside. It looks like you're trying to get yourself mentally prepped. Is that right?
Yeah, so the first thing I do, the Warwick game, I was an honorary team captain, so it messed my little pre-game up. Yeah, so usually when the captains go out for the toss, I bring myself to the end zone, and the people who don't get to watch me play football, so I act like I'm speaking to them. So I hit a knee, hit a prayer, and then my cousins that I've lost, I speak to them real quick. I speak to myself because I feel like when I put the helmet on, I'm a different person. So I speak to myself, let myself know, hey, you prepared for this. You've been working all summer for this. Like, it's go time. Go do what you do. I hit a prayer, little cross, put the helmet on, and I'm back to game time.
And that sounds very serious, very intense, which is how you seem to play each and every week. We talked about the fact that you have 4 picks on the year. You don't have a pick 6 yet. You came really close on the road against Valley Central. Tell us a little bit about that interception at Valley Central when you fell just about a yard short of the goal line.
So we're going through, it's trips to the right. I'm the middle guy. So I was sitting in the middle of the field. I see a post come across my face. The quarterback overthrew the ball. So I'm looking in the air for 2 seconds. I'm like, catch it, catch it, catch it. I caught the pick. So I'm running down the sideline, and in 2 weeks past, when I caught the interception against Newburgh, I didn't make no moves. Like, I just ran straight. And Coach told me when I got to the sideline, he was like, this is why you don't play offense. He's like, you don't got no ball carry vision. So after I got this interception, I looked down the sideline. I was like, I got to make a move. I cut back, and I seen one defender. I knew I had to beat him to the sideline. So I put the ball in my other hand. I reached out. I dove. He hit my legs. And I looked at the referee who was in front of me, and he signaled touchdown. So I got up, started celebrating, but apparently the guy behind me said my leg was out, so I was 1 yard short.
Well, now it gives you a little bit more incentive for the game coming up, and let's talk about that game. Middletown's first home playoff game. It'll come against Pine Bush, a team that they defeated pretty handily 2 weeks ago, although in the second half, Pine Bush seemed to get some momentum, especially in the air. We talked about that before. Tell us about your mindset going into this game against Pine Bush.
Yeah, so our DBs have really credited ourselves on being like the lockdown part of our defense, and we felt like Pine Bush game, we were weak. We didn't execute how we were supposed to. So after the game, we weren't too happy. Like, we had a lot of balls in the air that led to 2 touchdowns, and those were the only 2 touchdowns they got. So coming back this week, we watched a lot of film. We got extra work after practice, making sure that our coverages won't be beat and we won't let it happen again. So now Ramen Alexander, number 5, Michael Cover, number 10, and now we have back our safety, Caden Blackman, number 6. So we just pride ourselves on takeaways. We know that's where they had success the last time we played them. They didn't have any success running the ball, so we know they're not going to try to come out and run the ball too much, and they're going to try to target us in the air, and our plan is to get at least 2 interceptions and make a statement.
Do you always have goals specific like that, like how many INTs you want to get in a game?
So in the beginning of the year, like our defense, we pride ourselves on our defense. A lot of the guys who play defense, we don't play both ways, so we know when we step out on that field, we better make something happen. So our defense coordinator, Coach Conklin, told us, he said, hey, like his best defense, 2018 team, they had 33 takeaways. So every week we set a pace to hitting 5 takeaways, and we were on pace until we lost it. So now every week he gives us 2 takeaways, 3 takeaways, 4 takeaways. So probably going into tomorrow, I know the DBs, we want to have 2 at least on air. So 2 fumbles, so 4. I'll say tomorrow 4.
And one of the things before we started this interview, Kyle asked me what was my favorite play so far of this Mini Bear football season. And I picked his play a couple of weeks ago that really got Middletown going, both on offense and on defense against Pine Bush, and that was the block punt that you recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. 1, it's hard to block a punt anyway. 2, to then recover it as a touchdown is even rarer, especially at the high school level. So tell us a little bit about that particular play.
Okay, so I seen a video. I don't know who. Oh, the Patriots. So Bill Belichick, his snapper, I forgot the guy's name, and I forgot what team he's on now. But they said he always had a little twitch. I watched it on SportsCenter. So apparently before he snapped the ball, he always would put his head down or something like that. So after I seen that interview, and I know how long snappers have a little tendencies. So I watched film, and I noticed the long snapper for Pine Bush, he'll have his arm bent a little bit, and then he straightens it. So I started jumping the snap, and luckily it was the first one that they had of the game, so I was glad I got it on that one. So as soon as he bent his arm, I put my head up, and I have a track stance. Like I always get down to a 4-point stance, that off-season track work get me right. As soon as I seen him put his arm straight, I came unblocked off the edge, and I just put my hands up. My dad told me before the game, he said, boy, you better dive, and I dove. See, I felt the ball in my hands, and then I fumbled it, and I was looking for the ball. I just jumped on it, looked up, everyone was cheering, the lights.
That's an amazing attention to detail on a particular play that resulted in a touchdown for you. So I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself here. So you reminded me earlier that you've been on the team now for 4 years, and that your freshman year something happened, your very first hit. You described it to me perfectly. He kind of admonished me a little bit, folks, and I deserved it. So tell the story, Kyle.
Okay, so I was a freshman. It was my first varsity game against Pine Bush. So when I'm on the sideline, I just watch what they're doing, and I noticed that when the running backs go in motion, it's always a pitch. So the running back came in motion. I knew the pitch was coming. I came upfield, and since I was like a backup, probably a littler guy, the guy thought he could run me over. So I just dove, hit his knee, and my helmet hit the football, and the football popped out. I go back later to watch the game. I'm like, all right, it's that time. I'm on YouTube. I go to the point, and then I hear you say, a big hit, a big tackle, and a big fumble by number 2, Angel Ortiz. And I was like, no. I was like, got my name wrong, but it's all right. And then you later corrected it, like 30 seconds, a minute later, and then everything was good.
Well, good things continue to happen to people who work hard, and you obviously pay attention to a lot of detail, a lot of film work. So there you have it, our newest edition of Bear Talk with our senior safety, number 16. Watch him on that football field tonight, Kyle Scott. So it was my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you Bear Talk. We had Jelani Graham and Stephen Monchery earlier this year, and followed up with Ramir Bradley and Kyle Scott this evening. Some great individuals on this special football team for Middletown. We'll give you an update on a couple of scores. Cornwall right now leads Warwick 18-0 in a Class A semifinal. They're at halftime, and Newburgh Free Academy leads Monroe Woodbury 21-0 in the first half. The winner of that game will advance to the Class AA semifinals next week, hopefully against the Middie Bears, but whoever wins between Pine Bush and Middletown tonight will advance to that championship game as well. We'll take a break, sit back, and enjoy second half action of the playoff game between Pine Bush and Middletown. So we hope you enjoyed our Bear Talk intermission with Middletown safety Kyle Scott. The Middie Bears will have the football to start the second half. As you see that great light show put together by our Gertech crew, we want to thank all of our Gertechs for their year-long work here at Fowler Field, helping to put together all of the presentations here on Middie TV. Martyr in to kick off now for the second half for Pine Bush. one of these two teams will advance to the final. Taken by man at the 30-yard line, across midfield. Ball is loose. Pine Bush trying to come up with it, and they do. So we talked about the fact that the Bushmen had a really solid second half against Middletown 2 weeks ago, and they're looking to try to do the same thing this evening. And it started off well. Middletown takes the kick. Number 20, Joe Mann, I believe, was one of the up man as Martyr did a squib kick down the middle. And it was a great return across midfield, but unfortunately on the tackle, he fumbles the football, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Pine Bush at their own 39-yard line. They trail in the ball game 26-7, but still within striking distance. In the backfield now is Luke Broadbelt. Handoff to Broadbelt up the middle. Nothing doing by that Middletown defensive line, led by number 28 for the Midi Bears, Zamir Seabury, on the stop. That's Brooks on the far side off the handoff, but once again, that Middletown defense in pursuit. That's this time led by number 21, Jared Howell. We're going to have a special guest here for you in the second half. Joining us in the booth, Middletown quarterback from 2011, Vinny Mortellero. Big third down and 9. Back to pass is Santos from the shotgun. A big pursuit there by that Middletown line. And bringing him down is number 75, Stefan Marchery, the senior, and runner-up in the 285-pound wrestling division, state runner-up last year on the big sack. And Pine Bush will have to punt. And Vinny, welcome to the Midi TV broadcast booth.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And what do you think about the Midi Bears so far?
So far, so good. They're playing fast, playing physical, and, they're off to a great year, and hopefully this continues the rest of the second half tonight.
So that early kick return fumble here to start the second half, Pine Bush couldn't take advantage, and they're in to punt the football. Ball coming down to Georges near the 36-yard line, down the near sideline at the 40, the 50. At the 40, still in bounds, and finally out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. There is a flag back on the play, and the way head coach Tim Strenfeld is reacting, it'll come back once again the second time. A Middletown kick is going to get negated. Kick return will get negated.
We have a block in the back on the return team, number 23. It'll be 1st and 10 for Middletown.
Block in the back by Josh Simon. And when that happens, Vince, what are you thinking on the field as one of his teammates?
You just got to pick them up and be able to overcome it. Unfortunately, penalties happen in the game. And, hopefully they could put a drive here and get some more points on the board.
So we were talking, Vinny, earlier that Pine Bush last 2 weeks ago, Middletown had a 34-0 lead at halftime, but Pine Bush did much better in the second half. And for a moment there, after that fumble on the kick return, they had a little bit of momentum, but we'll see what the Midi Bears can do. Up the middle, Jelani Graham off the handoff, tripped up on the play. Nice job defensively by number 42, Ethan Conroe for Pine Bush. So you've been a leader of this Middletown football team in the past. Pretty amazing they have an 8th grader doing it now, right?
It's unbelievable. And, he's very talented, and he's left-handed, so I could relate to that. I think he's the only left-handed quarterback we've had since me, and it's awesome to watch him grow.
Fake the handoff, the throw to Jelani Graham. He's at the 40, got enough for a first down, turns it upfield, across midfield, still on his feet down the sideline. He might go all the way from behind. He's fine. No, still on his feet. Touchdown. His 4th of the night. Jelani Graham takes it to the house. 69 yards.
What a play.
We talked, Vinny, about the fact that Jelani Graham is only a sophomore. I interviewed him earlier this year, and I introduced him as the senior, and he's like, I'm not a senior.
It's unbelievable now. These kids coming up playing as, 7th grade, 8th grade, freshman, sophomore. It's unbelievable the talent that, this school, has. And credits to the coaching staff and all the players, for putting in all the hard work.
And coming in right now is JoJo Royal again. So Middletown will try the 2-point conversion after missing a couple of extra points.
Start the play clock.
We got a little bit of a late entry from the sideline on the near side. That's George's. Back to passes Royal, trying to find on the far side, and he's got him. Bryson Tibbs, the defense bit on Jelani Graham coming out almost like the last touchdown play for the 2-point conversion. And they forgot about Bryson Tibbs behind them.
That was a great play design there, especially for 2-point conversion.
So Middletown responds after that initial kick return fumble. And unlike 2 weeks ago when Pine Bush came out in the second half strong, the Midi Bears take control now at 34-7. The score a couple of weeks ago was 34-14. And with Newburgh leading Monroe 21-0, it's looking more and more like a repeat of last year's Section 9 final between Middletown and Newburgh. The Midi Bears are the number 1 seed in the football playoffs this year. Newburgh is the 2 seed. And you might wonder, well, why do they get to host the game? Well, we will have state soccer here at Middletown next week, but Newburgh was predetermined the selection to host this year's section before the playoffs were even set. So this time for Middletown, it will be David Rivera Hernandez in to kick off. Strong kick down the middle. A liner coming in at the 10. I believe that's Shorling. He's at the 20, the 25. Still on his feet across the 30. A good return. And Pine Bush will have it 1st and 10 around their 34. So what impresses you so far, Vinny, about this Middletown football team this year?
Just the strength and determination. And like I said, the hard work. Middletown, this program has come such a far way. Thanks to this coaching staff, and it starts from the top, the athletic directors, his staff, down to the coaching staff. And you see the Middletown football program is back. The soccer team made it to the championship. All the other sports teams, it's a great time for the Middletown community and how all these teams are, coming together and putting in the hard work. And, you see the results pay off right here.
Boy, a late inside handoff there. They were fortunate to be able to hand it off because on the play, number 72, Makai Wilson, on the stop for a loss of 2 to Hannon. Hannon has 5 carries tonight, and 3 of the 5 have been for negative yardage, 1 other for no pickup whatsoever, and only 1 carry was their positive yardage. Jelani Graham, the offensive start tonight for Middletown. He's got 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground. From 3 yards out, 7 yards out, and 9 yards out. And then you just saw a little toss taken for 69 yards for a receiving touchdown as we have a timeout by Pine Bush head coach Rich Ormsby. So it's great to have Mr. Mortallero with us here this evening here in the second half to give us some color commentary.
I appreciate you having
me. Mr.
me.
Mortallero and I are humongous Jet fans.
Of course.
Despite the ugly game, they did come away with a win this past weekend and take on the Chargers on Monday, but you go all out. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now as as a Jet fan?
My fandom for the Jets goes a long way. I've had season tickets for about 8 years now, so I go to every home game. I also travel to.
And you interned for them, I think, right?
Yeah, I did. And I also travel to all the road games. So this Monday night we'll be at home versus the Chargers, and then Friday, we head out to go to Vegas to go root on the Jets.
And you have your own custom van.
And I have my own custom bus.
You got a chance. So if you want to advertise now for your tailgate, folks.
Yeah, anytime, if anybody's ever coming to a Jets game, Gotham City crew, we tailgating lot J3. If you guys are ever around, interested, would love to have you. More than welcome to come by.
I think $65, all you can eat.
$65, all you could eat, all you could drink. We'll put your name on the list, and we'll show you a great time. And it's great to have other fans and football fans in general, come out and support and have a great time. Ed was one of our great fans we had come in and
a couple weeks ago, and hopefully I'm going to join you Black Friday as well. 2nd and 12 for Pine Bush. Handoff on the near side. That's Hannon. Actually, that's Brooks. A nice job of penetration on the play by Jaden Faison. Gave his teammates an ability to come back and make the stop for another 2-yard loss. Middletown defense has been impressive tonight. One little hiccup, but that hiccup was because there were a couple of razzle-dazzle plays on the drive by Pine Bush, some unconventional offensive play calling, which you got to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
When you're facing a team like Middletown.
And the Pine Bush coach definitely has some tricks up his sleeve. Great guy, and, I learned a lot under him when he used to coach here at Middletown, so definitely some more tricks up his sleeve.
Dual receivers to either side. Back to passes, Santos over the middle. He had a receiver, threw it a little bit behind him. Logan Hawley, who has the 1 touchdown for Pine Bush, couldn't come down with it, and it's going to be another punt for Pine Bush. And you can already tell the difference between this game and the one these two teams played 2 weeks ago when Pine Bush had a little bit of second-half momentum, but not tonight. And what's impressive for Middletown is making sure they didn't look past this game as the number 1 seed.
Absolutely. And, any given Sunday is the saying. And in this meeting, it's any given Friday night or Saturday. And, you come out and you got to play the game.
Number 42 in the punt. That's Ethan Conroe. Goes straight up. It's a short kick at about the 45. Georges lets it bounce. And it'll come to rest at the 34-yard line, and where Middletown will take over 1st and 10. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Lisa, we had an issue with the car, so Lisa ended up not coming.
Oh, okay. Well, send her my regards.
Absolutely. All right, man. I hope you feel better.
All right. Like I said, I'll be around.
Cool. 1st and 10 for the Midi Bears. They're at their own 35-yard line. They have a 34-7 lead with 6:40 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Last we heard, Newburgh led Monroe Woodbury 21-0 in the first half. Handoff. That's Graham at the 35, the 40. Cuts it back inside, and every time he touches the football, it's for a lot of positive yardage. That's an 11-yard gain for Graham, his first of the second half. He's now got 86 yards on 11 carries and 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground. You would think another score here, and Middletown's likely to rest its starters, not wanting to risk any injuries a week away from the sectional final. Back to passes, Royal off the play action, down the middle. Georges has got the football on one-on-one coverage. He comes down with it once again. The ball was a little bit short, and it made Georges come back for it. But what a catch by Georges all the way down to the Pine Bush 20-yard line. 34 yards on the pass play. Give to Graham up the middle. Can he get number 5? He does. Touchdown, Jelani Graham, 20 yards out. And you are watching history. 5 touchdowns for Jelani Graham, is 4th on the ground, and Middletown's lead is 40-7.
Let me tell you something, that number 15, that reminds me of a lot of touchdowns I had in my day, but this kid's making it look very, very easy. Unbelievable.
Every time he touches the football, it's a major positive yardage as Arzu is in to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and the point is good. And with 5:41 remaining in the third quarter, Middletown leads Pine Bush 41-7.
Got to give a lot of credit to that O-line. Man, they are some monsters up there.
They are experienced, all of them seniors, so they'll have to be replaced for next year. But some amazing individuals. I interviewed Ramir Bradley, who we showed at pregame, and what was I impressed? One of his last things I said, so how do you prepare the day of the game? And he said, well, the last thing I do is, a lot of people don't know that I have a younger sibling who passed away, and I have a T-shirt with his picture on it, and the last thing I do before I leave is I touch the shirt to remind me of why I play sports. So very intense individuals. Stephen Monchery, who we interviewed a couple of weeks ago, he had a fumble recovery in the end zone. His first one ever. You would think he'd get excited. He handed the ball off to the ref and went to the sideline. No reaction whatsoever. The kick comes down at the 20-yard line. That's Hannon on the far sideline. Gets across the 30 to the 35, where Pine Bush will take over 1st and 10. And on offense, we're likely to see some wholesale changes for Middletown to try to make sure nobody gets injured for next week's game.
You know, they came out and got off to a fast start and, put the pedal to the metal and executed, and that's the most important part. Now you're able to finish up the game, and hopefully nobody gets hurt, and look forward to next week.
1st and 10 for Pine Bush. Santos in the game. Nice job on the tackle that time. Makai Wilson, number 72, on the stop after a 1-yard gain for Hannon. Second and 9. Brooks on the handoff, trying to go across the far sideline. But that Midi Bear defense came to play tonight, folks. No gain on the play. Plexico Brooks is one of Pine Bush's star offensive players. Last week he had 19 carries for 226 yards against Kingston. Tonight, he has 6 carries for 20 yards.
Wow. That's a testament to this defensive front, and, Coach Chris Conklin does an excellent job getting his guys, ready to play each week.
Look at that play by Bryson Tibbs. Culver held up Hannon, the running back, who's still down for Pine Bush, and he was trying to make a move on Culver, and out of nowhere, leaping off his feet was Bryson Tibbs, and he got him from behind for a 1-yard gain for Hannon, who is down on the ground at about the 37-yard line. But tell them to call you Milwaukee if we are going to do it, because I'm not going to be able to see it. Looks like Hannon might have gotten the wind knocked out of him. down near the 37-yard line. Once again, we're joined by Middletown alumni quarterback, Vinny Mortellero. I've known Vinny since he was a little tyke, having lived in the same neighborhood.
Absolutely. And it's also always awesome coming back here and, being a little bit older and, seeing guys and teachers that used to teach you and asking you how you're doing, and coaches, Coach Strenfeld, Coach Lichtenstein, Coach Willard, they were all coaching me when I was in modified and coming up through the ranks, and got the chance to coach with Coach Strenfeld and them. And, it's always great coming back and watching, each year different kids and how they perform, and whether it's on the field and the stuff they do off the field, and the job you do as well with the Midi TV, all the alumni far away, wherever they are, able to tune in and watch the game. It's awesome.
Yeah, we want to give a shout out to all Middletown alum watching this from throughout the country. I get Facebook messages every once in a while from Mr. Ed Tucker out in Arizona. And he asked me in a text, why would the championship game be played in Newburgh? Unfortunately, the Section 9 finals are predetermined before the playoffs ever start. And last year was in Monroe, I believe. It was in Monroe. This year it's in Newburgh. And regardless of which teams are in it, they do not change where the final is played. So we want to thank Mr. Tucker for the question. 4th down for Pine Bush. They're going to be punting the football. George is on the near side. Blackman on the far side for the Midi Bears, getting back. Both have had a couple of nice run backs coming on the near side to George's. He's going to field it at the 31, cuts it up the field at the 40, and leaps across the 45, where Middletown will take over 1st and 10. So 1st and 10 Middletown from their own 46. They lead it 41-7 with 3:27 remaining in the third quarter. So it'll be an interesting matchup, Middletown and Newburgh next week. That'll, as we said, it will be at Newburgh. I believe it's a 1 o'clock Saturday start. Handoff by Royal. That's Rudy Cherry, number 24. He becomes the 5th Middletown running back tonight as he turned negative yardage into a positive run near midfield. They're going to mark it at the 49 for a pickup of 3 for Cherry. And we talked, Vinny, about, and I've said this all year long, about the depth Middletown has at the running back position. Any one of these guys can put together a big run for you, and it keeps the big backs like Graham fresh for the fourth quarter.
Absolutely, and you see that more even in the NFL. It's a running back by committee, and especially to have that type of talent on this level. There goes another big run up the middle there.
Yep, Calvin Perez that time takes the ball from the 49 all the way to the 41 for a 10-yard gain. 4th carry of the night for Perez. He's got 36 yards himself just on 4 carries. You may have seen the last of Jelani Graham on the sideline and Mike Culver, as I'm sure head coach Tim Strenfeld wants to save those legs for next week's championship game. Royal. Cherry once again off the handoff at the 40, the 35. And he's a big load to bring down, a big gainer once again on 1st down for Rudy Cherry. He's a sophomore running back, 6'2", 190. So you'll be seeing him and Graham in the backfield for the next couple of years here at Middletown.
I don't remember any sophomore running backs when I played that were 6'2", walking around as a sophomore, but.
So he's 6'2", 190. Jelani Graham is 6'1", 205.
Wow.
400 yards of running back. Tibbs changes from the right to the left side of the line. Back to pass is Royal. The little looper couldn't get enough on it, threw off his back heel. Tried to find Cherry on the near side. I'm just waiting for Rudy Cherry to score a touchdown so I can say, you know what, that's the cherry on top.
I don't like predictions, but let's see if this drive he could top it off with the touchdown.
1:06 remaining in the third quarter, 41-7 Middletown. They have this one well in hand. 3rd and 1. Up the middle's Perez. He's got enough for the Middletown first down of the 29 after the 2-yard pickup. So Middletown fans, next week, you need to head over to Newburgh for that 1 o'clock sectional final to cheer on your Middie Bears. 1st and 10 from the 29. Tibbs goes from right to left on the line. Georges looked like there was a little bit of a mix-up, but he does what he can to turn it upfield and gains himself a couple of yards to the 27. So officially, Royal becomes the 6th running back with some yardage for Middletown, as we have a Pine Bush player down. So you might be wondering, why is there an M on my screen and no football action? Well, here at Middletown, when there is an injured player on the turf, we do not show that player. And you'll just see the screen here. So the Middie Bears have responded after halftime when it was 26-7 and put up a couple of scores to make it 41-7. The offensive star is none other than sophomore running back and also receiver tonight, Jelani Graham. He has 4 touchdowns on the ground, 12 carries, 106 yards, touchdowns of 3, 7, 9, and 20 yards, and 1 in the air from 69 yards, which was really just a little old pass out to the flat that he turned upfield.
Absolutely, and get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and that's exactly what can happen. Anytime these athletes touch the ball, there's always a chance to take it to the house.
Number 13 was the injured player for Pine Bush, Jaden Aracena. It was nice to see him come off on his own 2 feet. So once again, Middletown fans, head to Newburgh next week for that championship game. If your Middie Bears are fortunate enough to come away with a win, then they'll head into the state playoffs, and every game leading to the Dome for the Section 9 champion will be played right here in Middletown. The winner of Section 9's first game will be a regional final on November 18th. That's a Saturday right here at Fowler. I believe the game is at noon. And if whoever wins that game advances to the state semi, Eastern semi, right here at Fowler, with a trip to the Dome on the line.
Nothing beats high school playoff football, and we're excited to be a part of it.
If you can't make it out to Newburgh next week, Wall Radio, our radio partners, DJ McPherson, Noah Gibson, doing the broadcast tonight here at Fowler. And they'll have it next week at Newburgh Free Academy. So the last 12 minutes of play in the first ever playoff game for Middletown here at Fowler since the renovations were done in 2007. Middletown has changed its quarterback. Now you have Sierra DeGiorgio handing it off to Quentin Langlitz. He's at the 25-20, cutting it back upfield near the 10-yard line before he's finally brought down by number 32 for Pine Bush, Ryan Russell. 16-yard pickup for Langlitz. First and 10 for the Midi Bears from the Pine Bush 11. DeGiorgio under center, goes back to pass, looking towards the end zone. He's got a receiver, and at the last minute, number 21 for Pine Bush, Chance Bennett, gets a hand on it. The pass intended for number 22, Lance Bell, in the end zone. DeGiorgio had a touchdown last week at Valley Central. We've mentioned earlier that she's the first ever female quarterback in New York State Section 9 AA history.
All credit to her. That's an amazing accomplishment. And, it paved the way more for women in sports, and there's a nice run there.
Calvin Perez off the handoff. Just short of a first down to the 2-yard line. They'll mark him at the 3. So an 8-yard gain for Perez. 3rd and 2 from the Pine Bush 3 for Middletown. And I give head coach Tim Strenfeld some credit too. Last year he had no hesitation in bringing DeGiorgio in at the quarterback slot, and only an injury took her out, and that led to JoJo Royal, a 7th grader, taking over. Near side, trying to get it around the corner, but losing yardage on the play is number 19, Javion Roldan. Loses 3 on the play. Javion becomes the 7th Middletown rusher tonight.
Got a stable of horses back there, and it's unbelievable.
We'll see a field goal opportunity here. Now, Arzu, without a doubt, has the leg, but on field goal attempts, he seems to rush too quickly to the line and has a tendency to pull the ball to the left. So we'll see if he can convert on this 22-yard field goal. Takes his time. Kick is up, and it's good. And Arzu, straight off that Middletown soccer team that made it to the Class AA final before it lost in overtime to Kingston, comes in and makes it 44-7 for Middletown.
And congrats to them on an amazing year and, amazing accomplishment getting to the championship, and hopefully they can make it back for many more years to come. Nice kick there.
And he definitely took his time addressing the football that time as he gets the high fives from his teammates, getting ready to kick off. In a 44-7 game, 9:44 remaining here in the ball game. Middletown has the game in hand. They will advance to the Section 9 AA finals next week in Newburgh. Arzu getting ready to kick off. Brooks on the far side, Shorling on the near side for Pine Bush. Long kick inside at about the 4-yard line, taken by Brooks. He's at the 10, coming towards the near side. He's got some running room across the 30, up the sideline at the 35. He's got a lot of room, trying to get chased by Arzu at the 40. Down to the 30, cuts it back upfield before he's finally pushed out of bounds. The best play of the second half for the Bushmen from Plexico Brooks. He took the ball at the 4-yard line, brings it all the way down to what looks like the 19.
And great effort there by the kicker, Arzu. Great job hustling after him to get him out of bounds there.
77 yards on the kickoff return for Brooks. And he's been their offensive star, throwing a 19-yard pass for a touchdown. The only score on the board for Pine Bush. And now he's put the Bushmen in position for another score. Santos. This is Brooks. He's at the 20, the 15, cutting the corner at the 10. And a nice tackle from behind that time by Middletown's number 23, Josh Simon. Ball's marked at the 7-yard line. 12-yard pickup for Brooks. And it gives Pine Bush a 1st and goal for the Middletown 7-yard line. The Bushmen put up 14 points against the Middy Bears 2 weeks ago. They're looking to try to do the same thing tonight. Unfortunately, the other team has 44 on the board. Handoff along the far sideline. He's at the 5-yard line trying to cut it inside, and he does. And finally brought down on the play by Joe Mann before he was able to get into the end zone. That was number 85 on the carry, Jacob Brown, his first carry of the night. Six-yard pickup to the 1-yard line, 2nd and goal. Looks like the ball's marked at the 1-yard line. Simpson, the lone running back, the fullback. The give, number 24, is in for the touchdown for Pine Bush. And it looks like it was Tyler Shealy, number 24, for the 1-yard score for Pine Bush to make it 44-13 in favor of Middletown, with the Bushmen coming in for the extra point. Justin Martyr in for the PAT. A good snap. The kick is up, and he gets it through that lower crossbar. And it's 44-14 in favor of the Middy Bears after that Pine Bush score. Set up by the long return by Plexico Brooks.
Yeah, that return put him in a position to come down and score. So,
and in a game like this, Vinny, you're just looking just to get off the field with no injuries.
Absolutely. You know, this game is pretty much in hand here. You got a big lead, and rest up and get ready for next week's championship game, taking on Newburgh.
See if we can get you an update on that Newburgh score. We have a Port Jervis lead over Highland 21-3 in their semifinal. Middletown takes the squib kick. And they'll take over 1st down. First and 10 for Middletown from their own 27-yard line. Sierra DeGiorgio, the quarterback for the Midi Bears. Handoff. That was number 26 on the carry for the Midi Bears. That's Hector LeBron. Second and 7 for Middletown. Handoff. Making the stop. Then once again, that's LeBron on the carry. Gets out past the 35-yard line to the 36. 3rd and 3 for Middletown.
They could pick up this 3rd down here.
Another new running back. I think he got enough, and he did, where they're going to place it. That was number 19 for the Midi Bears, Javion Roldan, for his 2nd carry of the night.
And that'll be a 1st down.
Clock winding down inside 4 minutes. 1st and 10 for Middletown at their own 39-yard line, leading at 44-14. Fumble on the missed exchange between DeGiorgio and the would-be running back. I think it was supposed to be Roldan, and it's going to result in a Pine Bush recovery off of the fumble, so they'll have it 1st and 10 now inside the Middletown 35-yard line. First and 10 for the Bushmen. From the Middletown 33. Santos back to pass, one-on-one in coverage. Nice job defensively that time in the secondary. Hawley was the intended receiver. Nice job that time by Middletown's James May on the defense. On the near side, on the run up field across the 25.
Short of a 1st down.
I think they're going to mark it as a 1st down at about the 21. Plexico Brooks on the carry. "12-yard pickup for Brooks. This time on the far side. Tackled out of bounds. That was number 85, Jacob Brown for the Bushmen. Picked up 3 on the play, 2nd and 7. Simpson in the backfield for Pine Bush. Handoff up the middle, across the 15. Nice tackle on the play by Middletown's number 14, Jovan Ferguson. Jacob Brown on the Pine Bush carry, inside 1 minute.
See if the defense here can get another one more stand.
Nice stop on the play. Simpson had the carry, stopped on the play by Middletown's number 78, Isaiah Torres. Trying to get it into the end zone, can he? And he does for the touchdown. Number 4, Plexico Brooks, his 2nd touchdown. The clock kept running, but they'll get the score and they'll try the extra point from 8 yards out.
Well, the Middies will go on to face Newburgh next week in the chance for a championship, and looking forward to watching that matchup.
We want to thank Vinny Mortallero for joining us here on Midi TV. A great pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Couldn't have been a better night.
It's always great to come down here, and I appreciate you having me, and excellent job by everybody tonight.
That mic will always be here for you, Mr. Mortallero.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
There you have it, your final score. Middletown takes it 44-20. As both teams shake hands, we're going to have our players of the game. So what an outstanding game for Middletown, their first playoff game ever here at Fowler Field since the renovations took place in 2007. They head to the Section 9 AA final to take on likely Newburgh, as that game is still going on. Last we heard, it was a 21-0 lead for the Goldbacks. As we get ready to do our players of the game, for Pine Bush, it'll be number 4, Plexico Brooks. Brooks with a 19-yard touchdown toss, an 8-yard touchdown run to end the game, and squeezed in between a 77-yard kickoff return that led to a Pine Bush score. So he was involved in all 3 opportunities for the Bushmen and for Middletown. You know who it was, folks. Jelani Graham, the sophomore running back, number 15. He ended the night with 12 carries on 100 106 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground from 3, 7, 9, and 20 yards out, and a 69-yard catch and run as well. Your final score, Middletown 44, Pine Bush 20. The Midi Bears march on to the Section 9 Class AA Finals. They'll meet probably Newburgh at Newburgh next Saturday at 1 o'clock. We urge all Middletown fans to head on over to Newburgh and hopefully root on the Midi Bears to a sectional championship, because if they're able to pull that off, folks, they'll be right back here at Fowler to start off the playoffs, the state playoffs, on November 18th. That'll do it for us here at Fowler Field, our last Midi TV game of the year. We hope you enjoyed Middletown coverage on Midi TV this year. We need to thank all of our Gertex and our technical crew up here at the press box at Fowler. I could not do this without them, so we want to give them their due as well. I've enjoyed bringing you Middletown football this year. Let's go Middies. That'll do it, 44-20, as they move on to the final.